Hi, I'm Johanna Rothman, and this is my Pragmatic Manager newsletter for September 2025. How to see the blind spots that maintain the current system, useful or useless. There's a very important image that goes with this newsletter. It will be in the permalink, and if I can figure out how to add this to the video, I will also add it there. Humans excel at seeing problem signals, the signs that we have a problem. However, we often have blind spots about the root causes of those problems. Our beliefs and/or insufficient or irrelevant data reinforce those blind spots. That's why we repeat the same problems. In the words of Paul Batalden, we create a system that is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. Regardless of the system's usefulness, our blind spots maintain that current system. Some of our systems are often useful, such as a system that reinforces collaborative work, limited and iterative planning, and focused on cross-functional teams that optimize up for an overarching goal. However, other systems are not as useful. One example of a useless system is one that increases multitasking. How multitasking creates a useless system. One of my trusted advisor clients, Ron, is addicted to multitasking. I've explained the flow metrics. Ron says he understands. I've explained the consequences of tired people making mistakes and working more slowly. He says he understands, and I think he does at the team level. However, he has beliefs about organizations and how they work that prevent him from rank ordering the work. Instead of asking about the value of the investment, he asks his leadership team to estimate how long the work will take. Then they create buckets of high, medium, and low projects. Ron's organization is not finishing work, which is why he's my client. He's ready to tear his hair out. Ron's beliefs about how effective organizations work create his blind spots. Those limit his problem-solving capabilities. I asked him to tell me the story of how we set the leadership team's goals and how we compensated that leadership team. Ron's story of the senior leadership team compensation. Ron does not have a single VP of engineering. Instead, there are VPs for platform, middleware, UX, and quality. And in the product, marketing, communications, and customer success VPs, and he has a 7-person leadership team. Ron claimed he was using OKRs, objectives and key results. But instead of one single OKR for the organization, each VP had their own individual and independent objective. Those objectives were sometimes at odds with each other. There was no alignment on the major outcomes. I suspected that was because he only prioritized, not ranked, the projects. Here are all the outcomes Ron wanted this quarter. Customer success needed to decrease ticket closing time because customers complained about too many problems. Platform needed to upgrade the current architecture to deal with infrastructure issues, not fix defects in the current product. Middleware needed to enable 6 new payment options, not fix defects in the current product. Quality was supposed to decrease the number of reported defects, and more, one objective for each VP. Any one of these objectives would have been fine for the organization for a given quarter. But there was no way all of these independent objectives could create a harmonic whole. Worse, these objectives are an excellent example of Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Ron believed that every VP needed their own objective. That belief created his blind spots that prevented him from fixing the problem. I created a purposefully incomplete connection circle, that's the image that goes with this, to show him how his thinking created his reality of too much multitasking. How connection circles work to show the blind spots. The image at the top of this post is a simplified connection circle. It does not show all the possible interactions, just the initial problems I saw. That was enough for me to discuss the problems with Ron. Here's how I explain the image to Ron. Individual management goals reduce how managers assign people to projects. Each leader optimizes for their individual objective, not the greater good. That reduces the chance these managers will assign full teams to one and only one project. Instead, the managers say they try to assign teams, but also assign some people individually across several projects. That creates multitasking throughout the organization. The people, teams, and managers all multitask. Individual management goals reduce leadership team alignment. That the leadership team does not focus up to the organization. They optimize down for their specific goal. Aligned leadership teams can create customer satisfaction and improve employee morale because everyone focuses on the same few things. This organization has lower morale because everyone is spread so thin across projects. However, without that team-based alignment, the teams can't fix or innovate on the product fast enough. That reduces both customer satisfaction and morale. Ron said, "Oh, now I get why you keep going on about the flow metrics, but I don't know what else to do." How things got this way. That's when I asked Ron why he set individual goals for his leadership team. When Ron first became a senior manager, he managed a small organization. There were only 3 people on his leadership team: VP of Engineering, VP of Customer Success, and the VP of Marketing, all focused on one and only one product. They could have individual goals because they all worked for the betterment of this one product. Those VPs collaborated, optimizing up for the product and the organization. Fast forward to today. The organization now has several hundred people, 6 major products, and a pile of shortcuts in those products that made sense at the time. However, Ron is still managing as if he's managing that one product, small organization. His system is no longer useful. His blind spots prevented him from seeing where his system was useless. Is there ever a time for individual goals? Sure, as long as they are personal goals. That's where a person's personal improvement can help increase the capacity of other people, but not individual organizational goals. Those rarely make sense. Notice your blind spots. Everyone can see some of the signals from a given problem. However, the more blind spots we have, the less likely we can see the system that creates these problems. That means we continue to use a system that is designed to reinforce those blind spots. Instead, systems thinking tools, such as the connection circles here, help us see the consequences of our blind spots. That allows us to then design a useful system. Ron is still experimenting and seeing how useful he and his leadership team can make their updated system. Consider other systems thinking tools to assess your systems, especially if you fear you have blind spots. I've already written about force field analysis. You can see an example of a causal loop diagram in the Flowmetrics newsletter. System thinking tools can expose our various blind spots and help us see alternatives that allow us to change our system. Let me know if you would like a newsletter about causal loop diagrams. Read more. This newsletter touches on several of my books, the Modern Management Made Easy books, especially practical ways to lead an innovative organization. Manage your project portfolio, increase your capacity, and finish more projects. Successful independent consulting, relationships that focus on mutual benefit. Learn with Joanna. My cover people are working on the print cover for effective public speaking. After this, I'll finish the back cover, get the proofs, and offer my Kickstarter. I know, I've been promising that for weeks now. I'll send you the link so you can decide if you want to back it. I thought I would be able to send you the Kickstarter link today. No, I am still having trouble with images. I will send out a note when I have the Kickstarter link. If you are part of the Agile community, consider checking out the Agile Network link below and the discount code also in the link below. I have all kinds of links of interest with links to the newsletter previous issues, managing product development blog, create an adaptable life blog, my work, my books, my store, my workshops, and my fiction. Thank you, and I will see you next month.